This is Fictional Mindbender. When we think of nunchucks, the first, most obvious, and most understandable image that comes to mind is the legendary Bruce Lee's performance in 1973's Enter the Dragon. And ever since then, nearly every on-screen performance of the weapon has tried in one way or another to replicate that, oftentimes almost beat for beat, move for move, and swing for swing. And it's easy to see why, given how dynamic and visually impressive and intimidating nunchucks are. It's why Bruce Lee, after all, chose them in his movies in the first place. However, over the last few years, it has seen a decline in popularity, or at least come under heavy scrutiny. With the rise of the internet has come an equal rise in experts in the martial arts, some of which who are experts, who have criticized nunchucks for being unrealistic, unwieldy, clumsy, and ineffective as practical weapons in a fight. There have been many shows about weapons and everything that have also displayed this as well. At best, it was compared to a medieval flail, and while the speed of the clubs on either end of the chain can definitely do damage to somebody, it can also deal just as much damage, if not more so, with a baseball bat. But, despite this criticism, the nunchuck's legacy has still continued to endure, and often in spite of many of its critics. However, there was one recent portrayal of nunchucks that I can think of that has changed the view of the controversial weapons from the last 50 years. In John Wick 4, the fugitive assassin is hiding out in a hotel in Japan owned by a friend of his. When an invasion of the hotel is launched with shock troopers and elite soldiers, John must fight his way through literal waves of enemies to make his way out. And it's during one of these set-piece battles that the nunchucks have become redefined. In a display room, John is knocked through a glass case of weapons and picks up a pair of chucks laying nearby. Naturally, everyone in the theater was expecting a Bruce Lee-ish display of nunchuck prowess. But that wasn't what we got at all. In fact, it was quite the opposite. John uses the nunchucks exactly as critics said that they were, blunt and clumsy objects. He even tosses them at his enemies in a true Musashi swordsman-style fashion, because he actually did teach a technique where you shoot your sword at someone before attacking them with the longsword. FYI. Anyways, rather than standing in place, whipping them around him like a cyclone, John Wick repeatedly uses the chucks to savagely beat his enemies over the head and in the balls several times. And then, when he does get creative with them, it's in conjunction with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu, using them to wrap up his enemies and trap his enemies, switching between the nunchucks and his guns. The movie's depiction of the use of chucks as mobile clubs on a chain is both an actually realistic display, while at the same time also not copying what came before, yet still being very entertaining and very shocking. It is also honoring the weapon's legacy by showing a potential practical use for them in a fight. Well, for Hollywood at least. And it remained true to the character of John Wick, who was considered a very practical assassin and is not known for flashy movement or anything of the like, and who oftentimes makes use of everything at his disposal as weapons very fluently, using them for the most quick and immediate ends to kill a person. And the movie perfectly displays that in his use with nunchucks. I came out of the movie with a new and healthy respect for nunchucks, and from what I heard from everyone else who exited the theater as well, so did they. No one thought this was yet another carbon copy of a nunchuck performance that you can pull up on YouTube, TikTok, or an old martial arts movie. And I hope to see more of this kind of use of weapons that are not considered practical or realistic in the future in movies. But having said that, let me know your thoughts below, and this is the Fictional Mindbender. You guys have a good day.